Hello and a very warm welcome to the Gimme a Julia Wrestling Podcast. My name is Ant and today I'm joined by...
Tom! Hello everyone!
And today we are going to be talking about the newly revealed game for WWE. That's the 2K Battlegrounds. We've just had the reveal trailer dropped. Lots of stuff in that. Let's go for a quick rundown of that before we get into a good discussion about what we want to see this game be in. It's in a similar style to NBA Playground, sort of more of an arcadey style, big heads, over-the-top moves. NBA Playgrounds was popular, man. It was a fun game, apparently. It's not something I've played, but it was a fun game. It got good reviews, and it spawned a sequel. So obviously it was something that was interesting to gamers. The trailer included John Cena being thrown into the mouths of an alligator by The Rock. We also got to see elemental effects during Becky Lynch's and Charlotte Flair's matches. We saw Charlotte Flair with a green glow and Becky Lynch with a straight fire in her fists. There was 5 confirmed characters. There was the 4 in the trailer, which we've already been through, and there was also a logo which showed Stone Cold Steve Austin. No surprises there, I don't think. So, dude, Battlegrounds, our new game. What do you think, man?
I don't know, man. It looks kind of like a mobile game to me.
Really?
It looks like your silly little WWE Champions game, you know? Why do we need this for a PS4 and an Xbox? Like,
well, I mean, I think the style will be different. I think it's great. I think it's a way better idea than doing another rubbish simulator game that ends up living up, trying to build up to something and then never delivers.
Depends on the characters, man. Depends on because obviously, like I buy a game for the characters that are in it. So if Ciampa's in it, Tommaso Ciampa, if the Fiend's in it, then yeah, I might be more interested. If I'm going to spend my money on something, then I'm very much a character-based person, which is what I said to you. It's why I still play 2K20, because I play for the characters rather than the gameplay itself.
Wow. So if the Fiend was in it, would you buy this game?
It depends who else was in it. If the Fiend and Velveteen Dream and Johnny Gargano, Tommaso Ciampa was there, I think it's silly to buy a game for one character, but certainly it would help if my personal favorite characters, ignoring my job as a wrestling historian on this podcast. And if I was to buy, if I'm going to spend money on something, it depends on the characters. Right now, would I buy this game? No, absolutely not.
Okay, cool.
Absolutely not. For John Cena, for Becky Lynch, for Charlotte Flair, I'll admit, obviously, we've said this. I understand that all of those players, all those people are arguably the most popular people in either WWE history or current present day WWE.
Yeah.
With Becky Lynch and Charlotte Flair being present and the rest being from the past. John Cena, I suppose, he's kind of a tweener between the past and present right now. But yeah. I appreciate what they're doing, but I think it's a glorified mobile game. So would I invest in it right now? Probably not.
Okay, interesting. I've got a few concerns with it in terms of my biggest concern would be the development time, but apparently it has been in development for about 2 years now. So it looks like this was a direction that was heading anyway. I think that this would have been a release that would have been added on top of your normal 2K game. So I think that you would have got this as well as that. If you remember when All Stars first come out, that released as part of a separate game identity, if you like. Same with NBA Playgrounds, that's released and have still done the simulation style games. I think that because last year's release was so universally hated, I think that has forced them to say, look, we can deliver this game and really work at making 2K22 a great game.
Yeah, I mean that's what they said in the press release, wasn't it? That they would spend time working on WWE 2K22. I'm all for that. I'm looking forward to see what they come back with. I think this is a perfectly fine stopgap for the general wrestling fan. Especially kids and young people. The majority of their is it now? Is it still the majority of WWE's audience?
No, I don't think so, man. I think it's a lot older now.
Again, for kids and young people, I'm sure it'll go down really well. For the hardcore, kind of gamers, I'm not sure whether they'll invest in it, but I guess it remains to be seen.
But people bought the NBA Playground, and that was a massive success. I know that microtransactions are a part of that, and I can see microtransactions actually being a part of this as well.
Oh, yeah, totally. Yeah.
I think it really depends on the gameplay. If the gameplay is fun, then great, cool. I mean, if you can get a brawling type of game that's fun to play and arcadey, if you look at like, what would you rather play? Like, Here Comes the Pain or 2K20?
Here Comes the Pain.
Yeah, exactly. And that's because that's a fun game to play. It feels, even without modern characters, it feels like a fun, dynamic game to play. And I think that if this can tap into something that's fun, then it'll be a game that we're playing for a long time.
Yeah. I mean, like I say, I'm interested. I wouldn't say I'm excited, actually. So I was interested to see where it goes.
That's cool. So in the trailer, we saw 2 moves being delivered. You had Charlotte Flair delivering an over-the-top natural selection with the sort of legs straight. I didn't think it looked fantastic. It looked a bit like a move that didn't really exist. It looked like it hadn't been animated very well.
Well, I think there's a lot of that, though. There's a lot of that. That's what these games are built on, is those over-exaggerated moves.
They are over-exaggerated, but it was like she flipped over her head with straight legs, and it didn't really look like a natural selection. I had to watch it a few times to get...
None of these things are going to look like the moves, man. That's not what they're going for.
No, it's over the top. I get that. But like, so the Rock's DDT, which is another move that we saw in the trailer, looked like a DDT. The Charlotte Flair move didn't look like a natural selection. And I reckon people watching this, if you go back and watch it, you'll see that it is intended to be a natural selection. Everything else we got to see was punches and kicks. We didn't actually get to see any of the moves that have been developed on, which I think was a bit disappointing. And then in terms of the environments, we got the swamp-esque area, which we had in 2K20 in the Halloween pack, didn't we?
We did.
In the Wyatt compound. Was it the Swamp Thing, Bray Wyatt?
Swamp Thing, yeah.
So cool. And we also got to see a subway type area, an offshoot of a subway type area that Becky Lynch and Charlotte Flair were fighting in. So we're going to take this to different places. It's going to be more cartoony. What do you think about feeding John Cena to a alligator or crocodile?
I think that's fun in the context, in the context of the game. That's fun. Yeah.
I think your hype for this game is going to be built up so much more when they release a Fiend trailer and the release fighting in the Funhouse in a match that should have been at WrestleMania.
Well, we'll see, won't we? We'll see what happens. I guess we don't know right now. But right now, I'm glad they announced something. They had to announce something. This wasn't necessarily, it's not a Here Comes the Pain remaster, is it? But it'll do.
I would have liked to read Here Comes the Pain remaster.
That's where we're at. I think it's not a Here Comes the Pain remaster, but it'll do.
Did you ever play All Stars?
I did a bit, yeah.
Yeah, it's a good fun game. It's fun to play.
Yeah, I ran through it. It was pretty fun.
So let's talk about the roster. What type of characters? Because I don't think this is going to be as full a roster as 2K20, or do you think it will be?
I think it has to be.
Really?
But obviously, when you say full, I mean, it has to be identifiable characters with identifiable things. So the reason why I say the Fiend is because you could do an exaggerated, Sister Abigail, where they go, the person that gets delivered gets twisted up in the air 3 times and then slammed on the mat and then hits the ceiling and then back to the mat or something. If Tommaso Ciampa's another one I bought, he could have like a special move where he whacks someone with an oversized crutch or something like that. Gargano could super kick someone to both sides of the arena and back, So I think, it'll be a big roster, but it'll all be people with identifiable values. I don't think, for example, we'd get a Drake Maverick. Obviously, he's not, we'll see if this is all the work and his current things are work. But,
Drew Gulak could be a better example.
No, because he's got no, what does he have? Daniel Bryan Daniel Bryan has the yes kicks. Daniel Bryan has the Miz will be in there because you could do a skull crushing finale. John Morrison would be in there because his Starship Pain, he could do like 50 times flipped before he hits you. Velveteen Dream, the elbow drop. You have to have a move set that can be exaggerated.
I agree.
Undertaker, is a perfect example. AJ Styles, another perfect example of someone you could do with, you could put in there. We're not going to see, like in 2K where you've got, you Eric Rowe. Obviously, again, they're all been released, but these kind of lower level. I think you would.
Drew Gulak, Apollo Crews, Titus O'Neil, that sort of character.
But I do think you'll have, particularly for the audience, I do think you'll have the Lucha House Party in there, and I do think you'll have, you
might have Rey Mysterio,
Andrade, those kind of people, because again, there's an audience to cater for there.
It depends. I mean, I don't think the roster's going to be as full as WWE 2K20 has made it. I mean, they've been constantly revealing more and more superstars each year, and that's been part of a selling point of the game, which I respect. But they also have to make these characters identifiable, cartoony, and fun, and you can't just copy moves over as quite as easily. Now, I'd say that characters more suited for this would be people, a lot of legends. I think people like Doink. I think you've got to bring Doink in there. Doink versus Bray Wyatt, man. The Ultimate Warrior, Hulk Hogan. Them type of characters are going to be much bigger on this platform.
Absolutely.
Another thing that was announced was that the 2K servers, normally every 2 years they shut down the servers for one of the games from 2 years ago. They've said that the 2K19 servers are going to continue going forward. So that's good for players of 2K19. Interesting. And how do we think this is going to work? We did a video discussing, obviously, what we wanted for a game. This isn't what I wanted, but it looks fun. And I'm happy to play a fun game as long as it's well developed. I wanted a management type sim game, you know.
I think AEW's game will be more that.
I hope so. Now, do you think we're going to get that this year?
No, I think it'll be next year now. I think it was planned for this year, but with the Steve Corino virus and numerous other things, I think it'll be pushed back till next year.
Well, we have done a video on that that's going to be dropping in the next few days. So if you are interested in an AEW game and our opinions on it, hit the like button down below. It really helps out our little channel. Subscribe for more wrestling content, including video games, of course, at this point. And also, don't leave a comment down below. Let us know what you think this game's going to be like. Is this something you're excited for? I kind of am. I find it really refreshing. You're less so.
Less so, but we'll see.
Cool. Rock and roll. Well, until next time, Dom.
Yeah.
Give me a whole yeah.
Hey!